Hello everyone who is just joining us. We will be doing a Facebook Live session today on Australian student visa. I'm just waiting for a few people to join up so we can start our session. Just press like or comment or share if you're watching this video. We'll be going through Australian student visa and the key things to remember on GT and a few other things. So it's going to be helpful sessions if you are currently on student visa, or if you want to have your family, friends, anyone from overseas to join you on student visa to study in Australia. So if you're watching this video, just comment or share or like, so more of your friends or family can join us. Alright, so we got quite a few people's joining us. It's more than 25 people who are currently watching this video. So people who are just joining up, what we'll be covering up today is Australian Student Visa Framework and what are the different options if you want to apply for a student visa, or if you're already on a student visa wishing to apply for a new visa, or want to change your AQF level, want to apply a different subclass or different visas to study a different level of studies. We'll be covering up those kind of things. So let's start with the basics of Australian student visa. So what is the student visa net subclass? Right now is 500. So in subclass 500 you have got a different AQF level. So it starts from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Before last year, the previous student visa framework was about dividing the student visa into different subclasses, which used to be 570, 571, 572, 573, 574, 575, all the way 576. So in the previous arrangement, the students who wish to apply for the schooling visa, there was a different subclass. LE course is different, higher education is different, and the vocational is different, or the PhD is different. Now to combine all together, what immigration has done, the Department of Immigration and Border Protection has done to make it up more streamlined, they've put all together into one subclass, which is subclass 500, and they've just divided the studies into different AQF level. Now what is AQF? So AQF is the Australian qualification framework. So if it depends what is your current qualification, you'll be considered as AQF level. So example, if you're doing a diploma, then you're a different AQF level, your bachelor is different, advanced diploma is different, the graduate diploma is different, masters is different, and obviously masters for research or PhD is different. So every qualification is divided into different AQF level. So it depends what is your qualification, and that depends on your current visa. So if you're currently holding visa subclass 500, as a AQF level 6 or AQF level 7, 8, then it depends what are you studying. Let's say any students who are doing a bachelor program, they will be having a different AQF level compared to who is doing diploma, or compared to who is doing masters, even though the visa subclass will be still subclass 500. So which that just a lot of students get confused that your visa is currently for 500 and they can study anything, but that's not true. In the new arrangements which made out last year, it's just that you need to check what is your AQF level, then only you can select your qualification. So to begin with, that's just a different subclass, the AQF levels in your student visa subclass. Now before I begin the news, how to apply for the new visa or GT and stuff, let's talk about quickly the students who are concerned about changing the providers or changing the course and changing the AQF level. So guys, it's very clear message in this current arrangement in the SVP, which is a streamlined visa processing, it's no more. So now it's SSVF. So it's a Simplified Student Visa Framework. In SSVF, your AQF level has to be maintained. So if you came to Australia on SSVF level studies and you're currently enrolled for master's degree and your visa was granted for master's program, then you must study master's program. You cannot lower down your studies to diploma or bachelor. If you wish to study diploma, that's okay. Immigration is not saying you cannot do that. As long as you are a genuine student and you are having a genuine intention to study, you can apply for the new visa under same subclass, different AQF level. So I'll give you an example. A student come here in Australia to study Masters of Business, who want to Masters of Business Administration or International Business. and he or she is not doing well in that course, and he or she is interested into doing something else, which is a bachelor level qualification. You can study that bachelor level qualification only if you are applying for a new visa and visa is granted by immigration. So that means you still have to go through the GTE process, you still have to apply for a new visa, you might have to provide them financial documents, depending on which country or passport you're holding, or which country, which assessment level your university is or your provider is. So you still have to apply for the new visa to study a bachelor level program. So just keep in mind, there are a lot of students we came across recently, they were granted a visa for subclass 500 for masters, but they're currently enrolled into diploma level qualifications, which are clearly a breach of visa condition, and you can expect NOIC, which is a notice of intention to cancel your visa anytime from immigration. They will not give you an intention that will be just sending out the NOIC only in December. They can send you anytime, 12 months in a year, 365 days a week. So 365 days a year, which means you can receive an NOIC. They will just give you 5 working days to respond to that NOIC if you are currently in breach of your visa condition. So make sure you do understand your visa condition very well. If you're not sure, speak to an education agent, speak to a migration agent, do drop into any of the closest offices of Aussizz, understand what is your current visa conditions, and make sure you don't breach it. Not breaching the visa condition will also make sure your future visa applications go smoothly. I can give you an example. We had a student who came in here for a bachelor program. He enrolled into directly a bachelor program, but he was not doing well. He studied very hard, but he failed quite a few subjects. And he wanted to do a diploma, which was a lower down level. He applied for a new visa with a stronger statement of purpose, explained the GTE very well, that he has been a genuine student. He has faced this kind of situation where he was struggling with the studies or the subjects and those kind of things. And the immigration officer was convinced and he got the visa approved. But why? Because he did the right thing. He explained his situation. He did very well in terms of explaining his GTE or SOP, that what is his career plans, what is he going to do in the future after completing the studies, how are you going to fund his studies, why this particular institute, why Australia, and all those kind of things in detail. And that make the case officer understood that, okay, this student has gone through and that's why he's planning to apply for a new visa instead of breaching the visa. So that's highly advisable. If you're planning to apply or study different level of IQF, then you should be applying for a new visa to change or to start a new course. So that was about changing the course or changing the IQF level, that you must apply for a new visa before you can start the studies. How to apply for visa offshore students. So let's say from the new SSVF level structure, now you can apply pretty much student visa online, because back in days we used to do a paper application for a lot of countries where they were not allowed to do an e-visa, or only certain agents were allowed to do the e-visas. In the SSVF structure, every agent can lodge the student visa application online, and you can pretty much apply for your student visa onshore in Australia, even if the student is studying overseas. So that means many of your friends or family who wanted to come here to study in Australia might be able to apply for the visa with the help of the institute, or with the help of an agent who is onshore, or with the help of someone who is aware, they know about the system and still how to apply for the visa and stuff. So before you can apply for the student visa, obviously you must get a COE, which is a confirmation of enrollment from the institute. Now you also need to check what is the value of that the college or the provider, what are the current assessment level they are in. So when we talk about the assessment level, so there are 3 different assessment levels: assessment level 1, 2, and 3. So 1 is the lowest ranking, lowest risk ratings, which means student applying for assessment level 1 institute will get a maximum chance in terms of having a less amount of documents or less amount of information asked by immigration, because that particular university or that particular institute has a very good record in terms of visa grant, and also the visa success ratio and completion ratio and everything for the enrolled students. Assessment level 2 is in medium, and assessment level 3 is high risk. So any institute or any country which is assessment level 3, they are high risk applicants. When we talk about high risk, that simply means they might be breaching the visa conditions, or They have a lot of refusal in the past because of students not finding to be genuine students who want to come here and study. You find a lot of students coming here from overseas, from certain countries, and applying for a refugee visa and applying for a different visa which they are not eligible for. When we have those kind of incidents, the assessment level of that particular country drops down, which means if you are assessment level 2 and you had too many people from that particular country breaching the visa conditions or applying for different visas which had refused, or breaching their current student visa conditions, then it can drop down to level 3, which means you might have to provide them additional documents, you might have to provide them old financial documents. The major difference in between the assessment level 1, 2 and 3 is the financial documents, the English proficiency and other GT requirements. The biggest surprise or the good changes recently introduced was quite a few countries were introduced into assessment level 2 because of their strong performance of not breaching the visa conditions. And that means the students from those particular countries, they will get benefited with less amount of paperwork required for the student visa extension or less amount of paperwork required for the new student visa. So anyone wants to come over to study in Australia, they will require less number of documents to apply for student visa. Now, how to choose the right course or right provider. So it's very much important that because you're coming to study in Australia, it's going to be very one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life, that which institute is right for you, which course is right for you. When we talk about the institute, obviously you need to do your own research. What are the institutes available for that particular course in that particular city? So let's say if a student want to come over here in Australia, in particular city, let's say Adelaide or Melbourne, you need to research what are the available options for you to do that course. Give you an example, let's say if you do automotive. If you want to study automotive and you're coming from Asian country and want to do automotive in Australia, you might have to do a research that what are the available options in Melbourne or throughout Australia, providing this qualification which is Cert 3, Cert 4 and Diploma in automotive. Then you need to differentiate between those particular providers. Let's say if you want to study at Kangan Institute, Kangan TEF, you can do a research, you can differentiate that why Kangan is better than others. What are the key specialities of Kangan which are not there in the other institute, or which are not provided or which are not available in your home country. So that's one of the key important part of your GT, that why you want to study in Australia and why you want to choose that particular institute. So you need to prove that you need to provide the enough evidence or information which differentiate between the home country's provider or the other provider in Australia and why you want to study only in that particular institute. It's not going to be that easy that you apply in any institute and you will get a visa. It depends on obviously your assessment level, but again, I've seen plenty of people getting into trouble even if they are assessment level 1 passport holder. So that doesn't mean they will apply into any institute and they will get visa straight away. It has to be a genuine student. So immigration officers do understand what is the difference between GT, a bad student or not. So they go through all the requirements. They do check what's the student's intention, how long he been here in Australia, he or she been here in Australia, what are the future prospect, what is the country's economical situation back home, that if the student goes back, what are the chances he will get a good job in this particular field, and that investment he or she is doing in Australia, is it really worth for investing before he goes back. Let's say if a very poor country student thinking about doing $50,000 of course, which is not going to be very beneficial for him or her once he go back to home country, then there's a high risk that visa will be rejected because it's not an economical benefit for him or her to do that course and go back to the home country where he's not going to get paid enough to cover up the costing. So if you check, a lot of people would have gone through that situation where the case officer have mentioned that you're going to invest $50,000 or $60,000 on your fees, on your expenses in Australia while you study, and later on, once you go back to your home country, you're expecting to earn only this much amount of money. So I do not find this investment is going to be very beneficial for you. So that's why I think it's not the right choice, and that's why I don't think so you're a genuine student. You haven't done enough research for yourself, and that's why I'm rejecting your visa application. Dawal, thank you. I will definitely improve my English. Thank you for your suggestion. So coming back to the point, yes, GT. So you need to make sure you understand those genuine requirements, the GT. What are the benefits of studying in Australia? You need to explain. What are the why you're not studying back home as well. So if you can easily demonstrate those kind of reasons, that why you're not studying back home, but you would like to prefer to study in Australia, then it's going to be very easy as well. A quick advice to students who are preparing the GTs also is, what you can do is also you can include the job reference links. Let's say if you're going to study Diploma of Nursing or Diploma of Management or Bachelor of Management or those kind of jobs or courses, all you can do is just go and search different jobs in your country. You can pick out really good jobs which you aim to be. Let's say if you're aiming to be a CA certified accountant back your home country, you can find out with the good paid job. You can list out those references that once I finished my course in Australia, you might be able to get those kind of jobs back in your home country, which will be highly paid, and that's why you like to study here. And when you see the difference between the current the salaries, the case officer can be easily convinced. So let's say if you're saying once you go back to your home country, you might get paid $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month, which is around $50,000 to $60,000 a year. And your current course which you are proposing to study is only worth about $40,000 for 2 years or 3 years, it's definitely a good investment for you to make. And that could be a very strong reason for a case officer from Department of Immigration to grant you the visa. So you need to cover up those points very in detail in your GT explanation before you can apply for your student visa. I've seen the other key points is also how many years you've been studying at the same AQF level. So we have seen a lot of people doing diplomas over the time. So I've seen a lot of people doing 5 diplomas in the last 6 years or 5 years. It's not going to improve your AQF level, first of all, so it's not going to be very beneficial. The second thing is also there's a high risk of visa rejection in your next visa application. The key reason is you're not improving your AQF level, you're not improving your education level indirectly, and also you're just trying to maintain your Australian stay with having a cheaper diplomas. So it's clear you might have come across with this kind of refusals of your friends or someone else. They've clearly mentioned in your refusal letter that you're just trying to extend your stay in Australia by acquiring another cheaper qualification. So which means if you're going to study 1 year of another diploma which is costing you only $6,000, that's only $500 a month, then that's not going to be a significant investment in your career. So you're not going to improve your skills. Indirectly for immigration, you're just extending your another 1 year of stay in Australia. So you're trying to be in Australia by just paying that $6,000 to that particular college. So that's very concerning. So it's my personal advice to all the students who are just doing diplomas over the time. Do improve your knowledge, do improve your AQF level. Make sure you improve the level you're currently studying. If you're doing diploma, go for advanced diploma. If you're doing advanced diploma, go for bachelor or master's program if you're eligible. Applying for higher AQF level will be beneficial for you, not only for visa grant in student visa, but also for your general skill migration program in the future as well. Obviously, diploma will give you only 10 points, whereas bachelor or masters will give you 15 points or 20 points depending on masters for research or other masters. So it's highly advisable that you improve your AQF level for your better visa approval chances, and also it's going to give you more opportunities or more points towards your general skill migration program as well. The other points I would like to cover is the financial requirements. A lot of students do ask, do I have to show finance or financial documents if I want to apply for a student visa extension? I've seen a lot of students who come here to Australia and they change the programs or they change the providers to different providers, and later on they have to apply for the student visa extension to cover up the remaining course. Now, to apply for to describe the financial requirements, it depends the assessment level institute they are into. So assessment level 1 institute do not require any financial documents. So if you are studying currently in the assessment level 1 institute, even if your passport is from assessment level 3 country, you do not need any financial documents to provide them. All you have to do is just provide them the extended COE, extended overseas student health cover, and GTE statement, and your completion or the student progress report. So when you talk about the progression report, you just need to take a letter from your university or provider that you're progressing the studies. And if you have completed more than 50% of the course, the immigration officer will not ask you to have IELTS or any other English anyway. So if you take a letter from your provider that you have completed successfully 50% or more course, it will just show your course progression, and also it will cover up your English proficiency as well. So you will not require to provide any other financial documents. Assessment level 2, they can ask financial documents depending on the case officer. The case officer can ask you to provide the fees. If you have already paid the fees for the remaining subjects or remaining course, you just need to demonstrate for the living expense. So living expense can be asked, and the return airfare, and the financial documents for assessment level 2 institute can be a fresh fund as well. And assessment level 3, you need to provide 3 months old financial documents, which means you need to demonstrate that these funds were genuinely saved, or you took an education loan, or you took a loan against your previous savings, and this is the income certificate, so this is the income source for this particular savings. And then only you can apply for then only you can use those documents for your visa applications in student visa. So you need to understand that. So first of all, if you're applying for your student visa extension in the next couple of months, it's advisable to check what is your current student visa education provider's assessment level. If they're assessment level 1, then you don't need to worry about it. You just need to provide them the required documents which I mentioned earlier. For assessment level 2 and 3, yes, they might ask for additional documents if they want to. We have seen a couple of cases in assessment level 2 or 3 institute as well, that immigration officer did not ask for any additional documents for finance because the course was only 6 months left or 4 months left. But again, I'm not saying that they will not ask for any document or any of the clients. It can be case to cases. So in your case, they may not ask, but in your friend's case, they might ask for those documents as well. So you need to be careful, and you need to understand, you need to be educated for this, that in level 2 and level 3 it can be case to case. So you get yourself prepared. And for students who are applying for a visa extensions in next couple of months, give yourself at least 4 weeks. Don't delay it, or don't leave it up to last week. We always see those students who are in hurry that my visa is expiring next week or tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we need to apply. That's fine, but it's advisable to start preparing yourself for at least 4 weeks. Having 4 weeks will just make sure you have enough time to collect the documents if required, which I've just mentioned earlier. Let's say if you have to take a study progress report from your university, they're not going to give you straight away. They will not say, okay, here is your study progress report, unless there is enough dedicated staff there who can help you. So they will ask, okay, we'll take your request, we'll just give us another 2 working days or 3 working days, and we'll email it to on your student ID, or you can come and collect that after 2 days or 3 days. So in that case, you will be stuck. So it's advisable that you start preparing your student visa extension application in next at least before 4 weeks. After, yes, you can apply for the student visa extension before 90 days of your visa expiry. So you can start your application in December or January, but don't delay it until March. So that's what I'm advising all the students, that make sure you have enough time to prepare yourself, to prepare the documents if required, to make sure there's no delays after the lodgement, because we've seen people not submitting enough documents at the time of application, and later on the case officer asks for additional documents that it just get delayed the whole process. And from our point of view as well, the case officers do get, they're not happy if they have to keep going back and forward, ask documents, ask information, and come back and do the same thing. They're just going to increase their workload. It's going to increase our workload as well. So it's highly advisable that you apply the visa with enough documents, enough information at the same time. So there will be no chance of case officer coming back to you asking for additional information, but it will be straight away granted. The next thing we'll be discussing also about choosing the state. We've seen accounting students commenting quite a few, and that what are the options after like for students who are doing accounting and stuff. So it's highly advisable for you guys, if you are considering to study in Australia, or planning to invite your friends or family to study in Australia. The way we are moving towards with a lot of students coming in, or a lot of students doing the similar kind of course and competition in the skill migration, it's advisable that you choose a regional campus. So if you study in any of the regional campus based universities, you'll get additional 5 points for your regional area studies. which will be beneficial for you in the future compared to any students who are studying in Melbourne or Sydney or Perth or Brisbane. So which means you got pretty much one step ahead of them in your skill migration program application. So on an average, what I've seen is if you are between 25 to 32 years of age, anyone who is studying from Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane or Perth will be having 50 points, whereas in anyone who is studying from regional areas will have 55 points, which will make them straight away eligible for 190, which is a state migration program, as long as you meet the state migration requirements. So that will be very beneficial for you to study from regional area universities or institute to have that additional 5 points as well. So it's highly advisable for you guys to look for those options, or advise your friends who are studying or who are planning to study from overseas in Australia, that you can choose anyone from any universities from Darwin. Let's say there's only one university in Darwin, but Darwin, Adelaide, Tasmania, regional Queensland, regional New South Wales, regional Victoria, let's say Deakin in Geelong. Those kind of universities will give you additional 5 points for your regional areas. Let's cover up the points. Let's say there are a few students commenting that if you can apply for a student visa after 485 visa. Yes, you can apply for a student visa after 485 visa as long as you can prove that the course you are proposing to study is going to be a significant value towards your future, which means let's say if you have already done Bachelor and you're proposing to study another Masters, you're upgrading yourself, you can easily mention that you have studied here Bachelor, you had 2 years of post-study work rights or 18 months of graduate visa, you looked for a job, you worked in certain areas for 1 year or 18 months or 2 years. Now you want to upgrade your skills, you want to have a master's degree before you move back to your home country or before you move to another country to work. That will give you a significant chance to get visa approved. Students who are just doing diplomas from Masters or Bachelor to Diploma, we have seen a lot of visa approved, but again you need to provide a valid reason that why your Diploma of Business or Diploma of Leadership and Management will be benefited towards your future. So let's say a student have studied Bachelor of Accounting, he or she wants to do a Diploma of Business or Leadership and Management, they can provide a justification. The reason why I'm studying this course is because I want to take the leadership skill, I want to grab that management skill or business management skills before I open up my own practice of accounting. So there is a valid reason to study those kind of diplomas and stuff, but you cannot just simply apply and they will grant you the visa. So having said that, a genuine benefit towards your future will make you eligible for any student visa, even if you have applied for 485 before, or even if you have been holding the student visa for 5 years or 4 years or more. So it's definitely, you need to work on your GTE more than anything else. Financial documents, yes, that's very much important as well, but GTE makes everything more valid, that you are a genuine student. The course you are proposing to study will be highly beneficial for your future, and that's why you're doing this investment. So quick example, we had a student from UK. She was having a Nepalese passport. She completed a master's degree in marketing back in UK. She worked there for 2 years. Now she came over here in Vista visa because her brother is here. She proposed to study social media marketing, and she got the visa approved in 4 working days. The reason, she explained her in the GT very well, that the course units or the practice she has done before, it was not relevant to social media marketing, which means whatever the jobs she has done or whatever the experience she has taken out of the jobs plus the unit she has done in Master of Marketing were heavily focused on outdoor marketing and the different ways of marketing. But since last 4 or 5 years, the marketing has shifted towards digitalization. So it's digital now. And that's why the case officer got convinced that it's very well explained, and the cost of that course is only $10,000, which means she's not proposing to study, which is very much expensive. By spending only $10,000, you're going to get that very much important skills in social media marketing. And if you check, the average pay of social media marketing expert is more than $60,000 in Australia. So just doing that $10,000 investment, you are pretty much upskilling yourself, and you are giving yourself an opportunity to have a highly paid job, which is very much in demand. I've seen social media marketing is one of the top most in demand jobs throughout the world in many of the countries. So those kind of reasons you need to provide in your next the student visa applications, by doing this much of investment in your course, you will get this benefit. So that's why I'm proposing this course, and you should be giving me the visa to study this course. And this is the reason I'm not studying back home or somewhere else. And I have enough financial capacity to study this course as well. So these are the core points you can cover up in your GT and stuff as well. The other things, pretty much. There's some good question coming up. I will finish my 50% of overall course in November, and my visa is expiring in March, so I need to take an IELTS exam for extension of visa. I'm studying in Level 2 Institute. Asim, no, that's what I was explaining earlier as well, guys. If you have studied more than 50% of your course, the case officer may not ask you to provide IELTS or the English exam. But again, it has to be more than a year. So, which means if you're just doing 1 year of diploma and you have just completed 6 months, then they can ask for English. But if you're studying bachelor degree, you already finished more than half of the bachelor degree or master's degree. That means you have completed more than 52 weeks in Australia. Then you don't need to provide the English requirements by the regulations. So you need to check what is your current course, how many weeks you are studying, how many weeks you have successfully completed, how many units you have completed, and then only they can waive off the English requirements. So guys, I've pretty much who have joined recently, I've covered up a lot of things on Student Visa Framework, SSVF, Subclass 500. The key thing, the another thing I would like to discuss before I can answer some of the question is students from 572 or 573 to Subclass 500 or something like that. There were a lot of students who in back in days where they're packaged with 572, like diploma leading to bachelor. They were on 573 arrangements, or they were just doing diploma and advanced diploma under 572, and now they are moving towards 500 visa subclass. So if you're gonna extend your student visa, which is only for advanced diploma, then you will be getting AQF level similar to in 500. So that means you can only study something which is maximum AQF level of advanced diploma. If you get your visa approved for bachelor or masters, then you must maintain that visa. In 573 arrangements, anyone can do bachelor or masters under 573, but in 500 arrangements, if you are granted for masters, you can only do masters. If you're granted for bachelor, you must do bachelors. You cannot do anything else. So keep that in mind, that if you're on 573 visa currently and enrolled for bachelor program right now, because you already completed Cert 3, Cert 4 or diploma in something else, then your visa will be granted for bachelor program. So you must maintain your bachelor. In the future, you cannot just package it again and drop down to your level. You will be in breach of your visa condition, so make sure you understand your visa conditions very well before you can move on to the next stage of your Australian journey. So if you apply for any future visa, your breach of your current student visa might affect on your future visa applications as well. So just keep that in mind. So I'll be answering a few questions. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I will be happy to help you out wherever I can. Ahmed, the 4020 is a public interest criteria where if you have provided fraudulent information or bogus documents, you can expect a ban of 3 years on any kind of temporary visas, including student visa. I'm extending my student visa for next 3 months. How much money you have to prepare? It depends how many subjects you have to complete and what level of assessment level of institute you are currently studying in. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are assessment level 1 institute, you will not require any kind of financial documents or funds. Irfan, if you're currently studying on 485 visa and getting expired, what kind of student visa? So you have completed masters in IT, so it depends what is your interest, but again, I've seen a lot of students getting visas to study business related courses after doing masters in IT, because you can also explain that your knowledge in IT will make you eligible, or you will be able to start up your own something in IT, but you still need a business management or people management skill if you decide to open up your own business and stuff, and that's why you want to study business related courses or the leadership and management related courses. So you can choose any of those. Harsh, no, graduate visa is only available if you have studied bachelor or masters. or above. If you are planning to apply under 485 graduate visa category, which is only for 18 months, then your occupation must be in SOL, which is now MLT SSL, and you must have a provisional skill assessment, and you must have arrived in Australia before November 2011. So you need to check your first arrival date and all those kind of thing, and to see if you are eligible for the graduate visa or not. But by doing advanced diploma, you may not be eligible for graduate visa, because CPA will not assess you for the equivalent qualification. I've completed a degree in Australia, but I want to change to IT course, but I need to start from beginning diploma. You can package the course with diploma leading to bachelor, and then in that case you can study that package as long as it's the same AQF level, and the provider is similar level as well. Sheikh Nati inquiries, you can call our Melbourne office and they can help you out, or Sydney office, they should be able to assist you. Abhishek, thank you for appreciation. PR for accountants. Sayed, as I was discussing before, for accounting students, basically it's advisable to study in regional areas based universities, which includes Darwin, Canberra, like Adelaide or Tasmania, or regional Queensland. It's highly advisable to choose either Darwin, Charles Darwin University, ACT, Canberra, University of Canberra, or other providers, or University of Tasmania in Tasmania, because they have relaxed migration pathways for the students who have successfully completed master's level, or 2 years of studies from there, or 1 year of minimum studies from there. So you'll have more opportunities to apply for your permanent residencies if you study from those areas compared to a metropolitan area, which is Melbourne or Sydney. Bindu, how can you claim the experience points? You must have 20 hours of work experience for a year, post-study experience advisable, to claim the experience points. So 20 hours a week has to be in your closely relevant occupation, and has to be for 52 weeks to claim that 5 points. Another thing I was advising quite a few students recently is, if you are currently on a 485 visa and looking to have options for your future permanent residency or future migration pathways, you can study on your 485 visa as well. There is no restriction on your studies or work, so you pretty much can do whatever you want to do on your 485. You can study, travel, or work in Australia. So it's advisable to do the studies while you are currently holding 485, and that means you will not have to have a COE, or you might not required to have COE, and also it will be easier for you to finish up your studies earlier, and you can plan out your next pathway. I do understand a lot of students wants to just work full-time on 485. Well, you can work full-time if your classes are in the evening. A lot of providers have classes in the evening, so you can do the same thing at the same time, like both things at the same time, that you can study as well as work. And by studying while you are having 485 will make you eligible for your future visas quickly. So give you example, there are a lot of students on 485 visa doing a diploma of nursing. So let's say if you have just granted a 485 visa for 24 months, and if you enroll into diploma of nursing of 18 months, you can finish up your diploma on time. You have another 6 months to finish up your APRA and NMEC thing, the skill assessment and the registration, and you can still apply for the state migration program by doing this course. So pretty much in 24 months you finish up the whole process of getting the skill assessment and getting the state nomination as well. So by the time you reach to end of your 485 duration, you might have an invitation to apply for your next visa, which is under 190 or 489, depending on which state you apply for. So it's advisable to look into that option as well if you are keen on studying. Beam regional will not offer jobs. It depends on which area of employment you're looking at. There are a lot of I'm based in South Australia. There are a lot of regional employers in South Australia look for people to work in the areas, but again, it's out of Greater Adelaide. That's why not many students want to work there. But regional areas do have an opportunities in agriculture, in transport, and quite a few things. So and hospitality as well, yes. So you can always look into those kind of areas where you get more opportunities and less competition compared to metropolitan Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane. So if you have not made any course progression, yes, you need to explain to the case officer or the immigration that why you should be granted a visa. You need to explain the key reasons and how, or the blueprint that how you're going to make a course progression in your course, able to finish up your the course within the time frame. So let's say if you're enrolled for 3 years of bachelor program and you have not made any good course progression, there's a high chance he or she will not give you the visa for another 3 years unless you you demonstrate enough reasons for them to be eligible to understand that why you should be given another chance of another 2 years or 3 years to complete your course. So you need to explain that as well, that how you're going to improve yourself and how you're going to complete more units of your course. I've studied Bachelor in Tourism, but now I'm planning to study Bachelor in Teaching, Touring 485. Any suggestions for visas? Rahul, you can study whatever you want to study while you're having 485 visa. Master of Teaching, Bachelor of Teaching, yes, it's a very good course as long as you do the specialization in secondary teaching or primary teaching, because these occupations are under MLT-SSL, which will give you enough opportunities for your future visa applications under 189, 190 or 489. So it's definitely a good option. And since you are studying on 485, there's a chance you might already finish nearly 2 years of your studies while on 485 visa. So you just need to extend apply for a new student visa just for 1 year to finish up your bachelor program, if not more, yeah. But there's very much a high chance of your visa approvals, obviously, because you would already completed nearly 60% or more course by the time you have to apply for a visa application. Divakar, yes, you can apply for your 485 visa with the IELTS, which is valid for 36 months. But if your occupation requires skill assessment as well, then you will not be able to get the skill assessment. So you need to check, or you need to advise us which occupation you are in, and then we can advise you what's the next process for you. Aussizz, yes, she might have to provide English. I'm the one who's going to look after her application in Adelaide. But again, I say, look, end of the day, each and every institute has their own entry requirements. So even if you have studied here, if they want you to have English or IELTS, like IELTS or PT or other English, then yes, you will need to provide them as well. Apparently, guys, if any one of you are planning to study nursing, you should be joining January or February intake, because from next year, mid-January, from May or June onwards, DAPRA required every institute to change the entry requirements to 7 in IELTS. So right now it's 6 for Diploma. So if you're planning to do even Diploma next year, you might have to have 7 bands in IELTS from next year. So that will make a lot of people ineligible to apply for Diploma of Nursing. So it's highly advisable that if you're currently on a right visa, have a right intention to study Diploma of Nursing, then you should be joining that in January intake, January or February intake throughout Australia. Kunal, yes, you can apply for a student visa after 457 visa. We had approvals before. All you have to do is, as I mentioned earlier, you need to provide enough reasons to case officer that you're a genuine student and why you want to study after having a work visa. There is a bit of concern that you're going on a student visa after 457. That means you're changing from work visa to a student visa, which is temporary, and there could be a reason that you may not be able to apply for PR or something else. But again, by demonstrating enough reasons of studying after even having a 457, which will make you eligible for a student visa, Give you example, we had a client who were on 457 visa as a restaurant, hotel and motel manager, not restaurant, sorry. And he applied for student visa to study bachelor degree, and he got the visa approval because he explained that he did his diploma, then he worked, he got a lot of experience in stuff, but somehow somewhere in the career he stopped himself, and he understood that to progress further he might have to have another qualification, and that's why he would like to study bachelor degree in either business or accounting. And that's why the immigration granted his visa as well. So you need to provide enough reasons for case officer to understand that you're a genuine student and you are seriously intentionally you want to study, and it's going to benefit it. It's going to be beneficial for your future career as well. So there's a high chance you'll get a visa. Nilesh, for business visa, you can contact our Melbourne office. They should be able to assist you for business visa inquiries for sure. Unfortunately, guys, I will not be able to assist you for any of your migration inquiries right now. This session is going to be only for student visa. So we'll have different sessions for different topics on migration, including state migration, employer-sponsored, skill assessment, the options after 457 or employer-sponsored visas, and all those kind of things. So keep watching our Facebook page for more updates on different kind of information sessions. Bhavna, yes, just mentioning before that on 485 you can pretty much study whatever you want to do. If you have done Master of Business without having a right qualification background, they may ask you to demonstrate the reasons why you want to study Diploma of Nursing, but you should be able to get into the nursing while you're having 485 visa. Yes. Chen, yes, it depends on your sister's visa condition. As long as she has not breached any visa condition and maintained her AQF level, changing the provider will not be a major issue as long as she is into the same AQF level. So guys, from immigration point of view, they don't mind as long as you follow the ESOS Act and also you maintain your AQF level, which means if you want to change your providers, you are a consumer, you can do that. But you need to make sure you maintain your AQF level and you make sure you follow the ESOS Act, which says that you must finish 6 months of your principal course before you can change the provider. So as long as you maintain those conditions, immigration has no issues in terms of changing the provider. Because at the end of the day, you are a consumer and you're free to decide which provider is right for you. Ata, yes, you can apply for a master's program in Australia as long as you meet the English requirement and the academic requirements. So it depends on which university you have studied from. You need to check your university's section. So for overseas universities, Australia divide those universities into different sections. So Section 1 university, Section 2, Section 3. So if you have studied from Section 1, even past class would be fine. Section 2, they might ask you to have at least second class, and Section 3, they might ask you to have first class. So you need to check that, and you must have at least 6.5 bands, no less than 6 in IELTS. So there, you need to check with one of our migration agents to see if you can apply for your RPL Diploma of Business for your RSMS visa. But since you have MBA, you might be able to do that. Jaspreet, the Master in Accounting and Finance from Flinders, is not working at the moment. Is going to affect the PR. Jaspreet, the current requirements for South Australia for state nomination is you must have 12 months of experience in your closely relevant occupation, which is accounting, even for state graduates. So anyone studying in South Australia in accounting, while you are holding 485 or while you're currently studying, you might have to have 20 hours of work experience in accounting field to be eligible for 190 or 489. So it's not going to be affected on direct PR, which is 189, as long as you have the required points. And cutoff points right now is 75, my mistake. It will come down to 70 hopefully, but no, I cannot comment when, but yeah, right now it's 75. Nishant, I want to apply for my degree. I'm studying Masters of Electrical and Electronics in Charles Darwin University. How many points required for NSW state sponsorship? In terms of the state migration, the 190 requires you to have 55 points, so you can apply for 190 as long as you meet the requirements, but having a selection, having an invitation will depend on some other criteria the NSW will consider, which is higher English or higher experience or the state studies and stuff. So you need to make sure it's not like having a 55 points will make sure that you will get an invitation from NSW. So you need to keep that in mind. Zain, good question, but 65 points, I don't see that happening, to be honest, for accounting students. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but 65 points invitation for accounting, it's not happening in current situation, at least until next year, unless immigration increased the number of seats for accountants drastically or almost double up, then it can come down to 65, but in current situation, 65 there is no chance. Hi Mahoon, yes, I've just explained that after completing 485 visa you can still go back on a student visa, but depending on the reasons and why you want to study further. So you need to explain why you're how you're a genuine student and what are the reasons behind proposing to study another course in Australia. Hi Purav, yes, it's a good option to study a diploma of secondary or primary teaching, but I don't think they do offer diploma level qualification. It will have to be a graduate diploma, which is after bachelor's. If any provider is offering graduate diploma, it's highly advisable that you can do that. You should do that since teaching has a lot of opportunities for your permanent residency as well. It's possible to change Masters in Accounting to Bachelor of Nursing in 5 months, yeah. James, as I was explaining earlier, that if you want to drop down level from Masters to Diploma or Bachelor, yes, you can do that as long as you apply for a new visa. So the major issue is getting the admission. So as long as you have a provider who can give you the admission into Bachelor of Nursing, you can apply for a new visa to study that Bachelor of Nursing. But as far as I know, or I've seen most of the universities following up the AQF level very strictly, which means if your current visa is granted for AQF level master's program, then they may not give you the admission into bachelor program because you're pretty much lowering down your studies unless there is a genuine reason, such as you're not doing a very well course progression, or you already have a background of that particular course and you want to study that bachelor degree, or a lot of people who are not qualified for that program because they're not having enough years of bachelor program. So that's a lot of countries, they just have 3 years of program, which is not equivalent to Australian qualification. In those kind of cases, case-to-case basis, the universities can give you admission into bachelor from masters as well, depending on the case, as I said. But you must apply for a new visa as well. In there, yes, Ahmed Tiso from UniSA, yes, you can apply for the visa as long as you gain the experience and get the skill assessment done. Sadman Haseen, if I want to change the education provider and get the letter of leave from my current provider, will my student visa be cancelled? Do I need to leave Australia and apply again? In terms of changing the providers, you need to follow the ESOS Act, or you need to follow the requirements or guidelines set up by immigration. So if you are changing the provider within the first 6 months of your principal course, then you must have a release letter from your principal provider. If you're not changing before, within the first 6 months, then you can change it later on as well. You just need to inform to your current provider that you wish to change your course or your program provider. So it's better for you to follow the right pathway and just inform your current provider that you wish to change and understand their guidelines to make sure you're not breaching any visa condition. Arshad, yes, you can, depends on the case officer. They can ask you to provide the financial requirements, as long as it depends on your assessment levels and stuff. Suman, for nursing registration, you need to have 7 bands in IELTS or equivalents in other English exams. For OET, you can use B, and you can use multiple results as well. Not only for registration, you can also use it for the visa application. So it's only OET which is acceptable by immigration. Yes. Nick, yes, for 457 visa, the overall requirement for IELTS is overall 5, no less than 4.5. So your current requirement is fine. But if you're inquiring about 187 visa, then you need 6 each, not 5.5 in one module. Fatima, yes, if you have completed master's degree, which is 92 weeks or more, you will be able to get 485 post-study work stream, which is for 24 months, as long as you have come here recently, within the last 5-6 years, yes. Shyam, unfortunately, it depends on your future background, like your previous background of your education. So applying from 457 to student visa, it's not going to be an issue. It's just that we need to understand your education background and what kind of course you want to do, and what are the benefits, what kind of benefits you'll get after completing the course, what is the cost involved in that course, and why immigration should grant you the visa. So you need to understand those factors. Guys, as well, I was just discussing about the different features of student visa and the requirements of GT and all those kind of things. If you have any questions regarding student visa, feel free to get in touch with us from any of our offices. We have offices in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Clayton, Adelaide, and Perth. So we have got 6 offices throughout Australia. We can help you out with your student visa admissions as well as the visa applications. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your comment here. We'll be still answering the questions later on as well. We'll be still answering you through the reply into the chat sections. And if you have liked our session, please share with your friends, family, and tag us here. So it will be beneficial for them as well to understand the key requirements, and just spread the message that make sure you follow your visa conditions and don't get into trouble for your future visa applications. And I wish everyone very good luck for your visa for exams. I think a lot of students are having exams next month or this month. So yeah, good luck everyone, and thank you very much for joining me today.